Have you ever helped someone and they never said thank you? Have you ever given everything to people only for them to ask for more? Have you ever been so kind, so generous that people started using you? There's a painful truth that kind people often learn too late. Being good doesn't always protect you. Sometimes it destroys you. You say yes when you want to say no. You help when you're exhausted. You give until there's nothing left. And people? They don't respect your kindness. They exploit it. The worst part is, when you finally say no, when you finally set a boundary, they call you selfish. But what if I told you that being kind without being strategic is the most dangerous trap you can fall into? Today, I want to tell you a story about a man who was too kind. A man who gave everything until he had nothing left, and how he learned the shocking truth about goodness. If you've ever felt used, drained, or taken for granted, this story is for you. Once upon a time, in a quiet village, lived a man named Thomas. Thomas was the kindest man around. He had a warm smile, a helping hand, and a heart that never said no. If someone needed help, Thomas was there. If they needed money, Thomas gave it. If they needed time, Thomas spent hours listening. Everyone loved Thomas, or so he thought. Thomas is such a good man. They would say, always ready to help. Thomas felt proud. He believed his kindness made him valuable. But deep inside, something felt wrong. He was tired, drained, empty. Every night he would collapse into bed, wondering, why do I feel so weak? One morning, his neighbor, Mr. Harrison, knocked on his door. Thomas, I need help fixing my roof. Can you come today? Thomas had planned to rest. His back ached from helping 3 other neighbors that week. But he looked at Mr. Harrison's face and just couldn't say no. He spent the entire day on the roof under the burning sun. When he finished, Mr. Harrison said, "Good job. Same time next week. I need the fence fixed. No thank you. No offer of help in return. Just another request." That night, Thomas lay in bed, his heart aching more than his body. "Why don't they appreciate what I do?" he whispered. "Why do they keep asking for more?" Days later, his friend Robert asked to borrow money. "Just 50 coins, Robert said. "I'll pay you back next month, I promise." Thomas had lent him money 3 times before, and Robert never paid him back. But Thomas gave him the money again. 2 months passed. When Thomas finally asked about it, Robert's face changed. "What? I thought we were friends." Friends don't keep track of these things. Thomas felt a knife twist in his chest. He gave, and now he was the bad guy for asking. One evening, the village held a meeting about building a new well. When they discussed who would do the work, everyone turned to Thomas. "Thomas will do it," someone said. "He's always willing to help." Everyone nodded. Thomas would build the well alone. No one asked him. They just expected it. He sat there, silent, realizing his kindness had become his prison. People didn't respect him. They used him. That night, an old merchant passing through saw Thomas by the river, looking broken. The merchant sat beside him. "You look like a man who gives everything and receives nothing." Thomas was surprised. "How did you know?" The merchant smiled sadly. "I see it in your eyes. You think being good means saying yes to everyone. But tell me, how do you feel?" "Exhausted, empty, used," Thomas replied. The merchant nodded. "That's because you've been giving without wisdom. Kindness without strategy isn't kindness. It's self-destruction. But isn't helping people the right thing to do?" Thomas asked. "Yes," said the merchant, "but not all people deserve your help. Not all requests deserve your yes. When you help everyone, your help becomes worthless. When you're always available, people stop valuing your time. When you never say no, people stop respecting your yes. Your goodness is a gift. Don't waste it on those who don't appreciate it." The next morning, Mr. Harrison knocked again. "Thomas, ready to fix my fence?" Thomas took a deep breath. For the first time in his life, he said, "No." Mr. Harrison was shocked. "What?" But you promised. I'm tired, Thomas replied calmly. My body needs rest. You'll have to find someone else. Mr. Harrison's face turned red, but Thomas stood firm. I fixed your roof, your door, and your garden fence, and you never once said thank you. You only asked for more. He closed the door gently. His hands were shaking, but for the first time, he felt free. Days later, Robert asked for money again. Thomas looked at him calmly. No. Robert's eyes widened. What? Come on, Thomas. You borrowed from me 3 times and never paid me back. I won't lend you money again. Robert's face twisted with anger. You've changed, Thomas. You're not the kind person you used to be. Thomas smiled slightly. You're right. I've changed. I'm no longer kind to people who don't respect my kindness. And he felt lighter than he had in years. At the next village meeting, Thomas stood up. I've helped this village for years, he said, his voice steady. But from now on, things will change. I will help, but not alone. I will give my time, but it must be respected. I will be kind, but only to those who value it. Some villagers looked ashamed, others angry. But Thomas didn't care anymore. He had learned the truth. Being good doesn't mean being weak. It means being wise. Weeks passed. The people who used to take Thomas for granted started treating him differently. Mr. Harrison nodded respectfully. Robert greeted him politely from a distance. The villagers still asked for help, but now they offered something in return. Money, labor, gratitude. One day, a young farmer named Daniel approached him. Thomas, I heard you're good at building. I need help with my barn, but I'll pay you, and I'll help you with anything you need. Thomas saw something rare in his eyes, respect. All right, he said with a smile. Let's work together. Months later, the old merchant returned and found Thomas by the river, looking stronger and more peaceful. You've changed, the merchant said. Thomas nodded. I have. I now know real goodness is strategic. It's about helping the right people at the right time in the right way. And how do you feel now? The merchant asked, raising an eyebrow. Thomas gazed up at the sky, a smile creeping onto his face. I feel free, you know? I'm still kind, but I'm no longer weighed down. Remember this, kindness is beautiful only when it has boundaries. Being available to everyone doesn't make you good. It makes you empty. Be kind, but be wise.